Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Tea with Me Tuesday. Today I'm going to be talking about aftercare. What is next for me? What's going to. Now, I did mention it in my last video that I'll be moving in with my son and his family into a house. We're hoping to have a place with a full finished lower level that I can use as a little apartment. We're still looking, but in the meantime, I have to go through all my stuff, all of my things. I have to get rid of a lot of stuff because I'm no longer going to have an apartment. Basically, going to have a craft area and my bed area, and basically that's it. Um, and so I'm really going to have to downsize, like really downsize, which means also going through my craft hoard and trying to eliminate some of that. Yeah, so talking about aftercare, one of the things that I did not do these past 9 months, actually, it's only been maybe about a month I started looking after myself. I never really looked after myself. I couldn't sleep. I cried a lot after Mom passed. There were funeral costs that I didn't expect. There was car problems I didn't expect. There was a lot of things going on that I didn't expect. And for those of you who are caring now, my suggestion to you is that if um, you really need to kind of look ahead at if you're alone, like I was alone living with Mom. If I had my own house or apartment, Mom could have moved in with me, but because I was living in a one-bedroom apartment, I needed two bedrooms for the two of us, so we had to move. Not many of you, some of you have homes of your own. You've shared with your husband. It's your husband you're taking care of. So the unexpected expenses that occur, you're probably smarter than I am and have prepared for that. I don't know, but in my case, I did not prepare. Um, I think deep down inside, I expected Mom to live at least another couple of years. And once my car was paid off, then I was planning to put a little nest egg away. But, like anything else, your little nest egg, your little emergency fund gets depleted because of one thing or another, my pets and my car and other things that needed to be replaced and so on. So I mean, the financial end is always one that sort of kicks you in the gut. And it's taking me almost the whole year to overcome all of these things. So what we've decided to do is my son and his family are going to move into my small little two-bedroom apartment, and we're going to share it for a couple of months while we squirrel away enough money to put down on a house. Now, we can't afford to buy a house, so renting a house temporarily until we can afford to maybe purchase a house will be in the future, but for now, and the rents are outrageous, but we need time to we need first and last month's rent. So if a house is going to cost us $2,500 a month in rent, which is crazy because if we bought a house, our mortgage would be half of that. I mean, I've already figured it out. I've already, looked into it. But anyway, no one's going to I have no rich relatives that are going to throw, $30,000 into my lap so that I can put it down on a house. So what we have decided to do is, and they were also renting an apartment, So they are leaving the apartment. They're going to move in with me. We are going to rearrange everything. The master bedroom here will be my son and my daughter-in-law, because my son works early in the morning. He works hard all day. He needs his quiet sleep. And the boy's going to share the other room. If there's no room for the two of them, one of them will be sharing the living room with me. And it's only for a few months. It's not a big deal, but it is going to make a difference on my videotapes and my channel. There are going to be times when I'm going to want to videotape, and I may have to do voiceovers because of the noise in the house. I may have to do some balcony chats and do some, Tears Me Tuesday on the balcony where it's a little quieter. So there's a lot of adjustments that's going to have to be made. One of the big adjustments for me is really downsizing. It's downsizing a lot, because I have filled my apartment with all the things that I love: the flowers, the pictures on the wall, the bookcases and books and crafts and things like that. So it's going to be a big change for me, and I'm hoping that I will still be able to have late night videos where I can speak with you. And so we're hoping 2 months at the most. They're moving in Halloween, as a matter of fact. They're moving in here on Halloween, and hopefully, so we're looking at November and December and maybe January. I don't know. We may even have to wait until February. So that's 4 months in a crowded apartment where we're going to have to make allowances for each other. And I'm going to have to come up with some ingenious ways of doing my videos. I may even go down into my storage room and do videos down there where it is quieter. I may do car vlogs. I don't know. It depends on the whole situation. But the other thing that I've got to do, not only declutter and really downsize a lot, some things are going to be put into storage and will stay there until we move. And then when we move, it will, I'll be able to bring those things out, things that I love to have around me. As you know, I love my flowers. I like it airy and bright. I also have a very, very messy craft room that I'm going to have to squeeze into a small area. So there's going to be a lot of that kind of thing going on. It sounds almost like a nightmare, but I think in the long run, it'll be better for all of us. They will be able to save money during the year or two that we're together, to put a down payment on a house. And sometimes, if you're fortunate to rent a place where you can rent to own eventually, or if they happen to decide to sell and we want to stay there, there's those different options, that are open to us. But that is, it is what it is in life. That was a very, very difficult decision for me to make. But it was a necessary one. For me, it was something that I thought long and hard about. I mean, really long and hard about. And it is going to give me the freedom that I don't have to stay in my little apartment or room, wherever that may be, whatever it may be in the house. I can come and go as I please. I've got a car. I can travel if I want to. There's a lot of things I could do. But I think that planning too far ahead long term is not a good option right now. So the other thing I wanted to talk about in sort of aftercare, I mean, this is my particular situation, but the other thing is looking after me. Health-wise, um, stress can do a lot of things to your body that you don't expect. And I developed high blood pressure, which we have been monitoring, and it is now getting back to normal levels. But um, it was extremely high, and it was extremely worrisome. So I've had all kinds of blood work done. I've had mammograms and pap smears and um, all kinds of stuff done, and we're monitoring everything. And everything came back okay, except my blood work. My cholesterol's a little bit high. My blood pressure was a little high, and I think that stress can really do a number on you. So it's important for us, even though I went through a lot of stress, even though I went through a lot of financial problems and legal problems and blah, 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 um, I still have to realize that I need to take care of myself. And to be honest, I was going for like a week at a time without taking a shower or washing my hair. I didn't care about how I looked. However, I did dress. And one of the things that I've always done is I've always dressed and fixed myself as best I can when you have dirty hair, um, to go out. I have never ever gone out sloppy, ever. I've always gone dressed appropriately. And that's something else um, that I needed to remind myself. Although there were days when I stayed in my pajamas. I mean, I think the first 3 months, unless I had to go out and get dressed, I get dressed and go out. I was in my jammies all day long and tearing up and talking to mom and going through my own personal grief. And then, of course, with the other, mountains of things weighing on me, it got to the point where I didn't care. I didn't change my sheets. I mean, these sound terrible, but to be honest, I didn't care, you know. The facade of watching me do crafts, I'm in my pajamas doing my crafts. You can't see me, you see my hands, and we're talking and everything, and you try to be upbeat, but I went through a really bad time and almost on the verge of depression. I think I felt bad. Um, I think that the doctor did say to me at one point early on after mom had passed, if you want, we can give you something for depression. I'm not good at pills, and I'm also kind of stubborn in that I feel that prayer, meditation, quiet times, sleeping, relaxing, doing my crafts, which is very good for distressing. I mean, it's when I'm doing silly things and I'm having fun, these are things that are uplifting. So for me, um, taking something that is addictive and something that is going to be a temporary fix is not, it's not in my nature. It's not. um, I have people in my life, friends, acquaintances, relatives, that will jump with both feet to take an antidepressant and take it as long as they can in order to subdue and try and uplift themselves. And they feel that pills are the answer. And that's fine. That is great for a lot of people. It really is probably a lifesaver for a lot of people, but not for me. I know me, I know my body, and I know that grief is different for everyone. And if my grief requires me to cry a little more, sleep a little more, do a little more, why should I try and cover it with medication when all I need is quiet time, prayer, talking to mom. I have my own way of self healing. But the point is to do it, to be a self healer. And I think I did a pretty good job because I've come around quite a bit. I think in the past month, I think the wedding, my son's wedding, really helped a lot. I think that a lot of other things, getting help for the funeral costs that were not expected. I've made payment arrangements so that I'm not overwhelmed by a big massive bill. And I've come around to realize that the more I think about horrible things, the more horrible things come around to me. And it's kind of like that, the secret that went around for a long time where people are saying your thoughts are what. Well, in a way, I kind of believe that in a way, not to the extreme that they were doing it on the movie. If those of you who remember the whole secret thing, it's not a secret. I think we all know that when we have happy thoughts, when we are faced with challenges, we deal with it the best way we can as each challenge and obstacle comes up. We don't expect another obstacle. We just deal with the one at hand and then we get on with our life. I'm kind of that thinker, I think. I think that for a while I was thinking, oh my God, what else is going to happen? What else is going to happen? But I think once I got over sort of the deep grief that I was going through and was kind of turned around by the excitement and pleasures of the wedding, really turned me around a lot and gave me food for thought. It gave me something to think about. And then I realized that, I have a pretty darn good life. I'm very lucky. I'm lucky to be 73 and not be riddled with all kinds of diseases. I mean, they may come, yes, but I have friends, in their 50s and 60s or acquaintances more, that have been dealing with life-threatening things. And I am so fortunate that I am in my 70s, and the worst thing that I have to worry about is that my blood pressure's a little high. I mean, sure, if it's high for a really long time, it can give me a heart attack. I mean, yeah, we can think of these horrible things, but I think for me, we're just bringing it down to normal. I'm not going to worry about it. And unless it's life-threatening, why would I worry about something that doesn't exist? I eat well. Oh, I could exercise a little bit more. There's a lot of things that go on in our life, things that are thrown at us, and how we deal with it, how we handle things is a testament to our character, to our our ability to go on with life. So, in talking about all of these things that could go wrong, I would rather think of all the possibilities. Wash your hair and look pretty, and okay, I'm an old lady, but dress nicely, look after my nails, which I'm so proud of. It's the one thing, as I mentioned before in a video, it's the one thing I have control over. I mean, yes, they break, but they grow, my hair, I like it gray. I don't want to color it. I don't want to change who I am. This is who I am. And And I'm feeling better about myself because I've handled a lot. In 9 months since Mom passed, I have had to handle, juggle, rearrange, rethink a lot about my life. And I don't know if I'm going to live to be 90. I may be lucky, maybe not. I may live to be 60. I'm 60. 80. I don't know how long the rest of my life is, but I don't want to live it on medications and being afraid of life. I want to be able to enjoy my life and be silly and have fun and laugh again, laughing and laughing. I watch some short videos where they have on Facebook. I think they have these reels, and there's people telling jokes, and there's stand-up comedians telling jokes, and I'm laughing. And then they have, dogs or cats that are doing silly things, and I am just peeing my pants laughing. That is good for your heart. It's good for your mind. It's good for your soul to laugh. And I'm laughing again, and that's important. And I laugh at myself. And some of my videos when I'm doing crafting, I'm laughing at myself. On if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. We'll just fix it. We'll just fix it. So I hope you get a little bit out of this in that I'm sharing kind of. I think this has been a turning point. I think the wedding really was a turning point for me in seeing family, seeing my son and his new wife be, absolutely ecstatic about their journey and what they've done and how they've done it on their own, and the whole families, all of us getting together and sharing in the joy. And I think the only time I started to cry is my ex-husband and his wife flew in from BC, and we were having a great time. Everything was great. I mean, it's been many, 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 many years since we divorced. My God, I was in my late 30s? 50 years ago, 40 years ago? 40 years ago. So, but the only thing that happened is he came and sat beside me and asked me, "I am so sorry about your mom. How are you doing?" I started to cry. The first time in a long time. And he was so upset that he had upset me. I said, No, you don't upset me. I just miss her. I miss her, and I talk to her every day. And then we talked, and I was okay. Because he loved my mom, and my mom loved him very, very much. She was quite surprised when we divorced, but anyway. Long, long, long old story. But I burst into tears, and that poor guy, he was like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" But I had to reassure him, it's okay. I needed that. I needed to let it out. Sometimes I was fine for weeks and weeks and weeks. One little voice, one little pat on the hand, a little, "How are you doing?" The floodgates came open. And that was the only, after it was over and I had a chance to, compose myself. And then we talked about Mom, because he had lost both his mom and dad earlier. And, he knows what loss is. And like I say, he loved my mom loved him. So, it took me a minute. But I think that I'm at a point where I still cry. I still think of her. I still miss her. But I was watching something, and what they said was, in healing, we shouldn't feel guilty because while we are healing, they're waiting for us in heaven. So they're not behind us. They're ahead of us in heaven. So as our life goes on, we're going towards them. I thought that was a beautiful thing to say. It's true that, yes, they leave the physical body, the one that we miss and talked to and yelled at and showed it and laughed with and cried with, etc., etc. That part is gone, but they're waiting for us, and we will see them again. So I thought that was absolutely beautiful. I loved the way they had said that. So, yeah, this is getting longer than I expected. I was going to try and keep it at 20 minutes, but I do go on, don't I? Anyway, guys, that is it for me for this week. I am not apologetic for opening up some soft areas that we always need to look at. And after care, after we're alone, when we're on our own, not all of us are on our own, but we're dealing with our grief on our own, even though we may have a husband, a partner, and we've just lost a parent, for saying, or whatever we have lost. We're still alone in our grief because it's in our heart, it's in our soul. You can share your thoughts, your feelings, you can do all of that, but it's not the same as healing inside of you. And I am now in the process of doing some very good healing and look forward to being with Mom again. Okay, before I get teary, before anything else, thank you so much for joining me this week. It was a bit of a everything, but sometimes we need to talk about how people deal with different things, and my way may not be your way, and your way may not be my way. But as long as we agree that whatever way we go through grief, whatever way we deal with what hurts inside, it's our way. I want to thank you for joining me this week, and we'll see you again next week when I have, I'm hoping, some more uppity stuff to talk about, like decluttering. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a big job. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.